Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit, Brexit Europe. Because it's not just Britain, right, who are acting like a bunch of racist, cowardly idiots, tossers. Right? It's the whole of Europe, right, that's acting in a way, right, that for me, this is like it's the probably one of the first times that I've seen a war like this, like with just purely white people in it, and the reaction, right, of the whole of Europe. In fact, the reaction of the whole of the world, but the reaction of the whole of Europe. All these Western countries, and in America as well, because we had last night they had the Oscars, right, and all of those actors, right, all those woke fools, right, who pretend, oh, we're so woke and we care about everybody, have just shown themselves up for what they really are, right? A bunch of racist losers, all of yous, right? You're going up in there, right, and you're mentioning the Ukraine, right? When you've been sat there for how many years watching what's going on in Palestine, never mention it. Probably because you know what? They know that they would never ever go back to the Oscars ever again if they mentioned Palestine. Right? You could mention the Yemen though, but it's still not. They won't mention the Yemen, and they could mention the Yemen because it's not like the Yemen haven't got the power Saudi Arabia haven't got the power like Israel have got. Right? Where if you dare come out and say anything, right, about the apartheid, right, that Israel are committing on the Palestinian people, right, you're branded as anti-Semitic. So Europe, right, is showing your true colours. You're showing your true colours of who you people really are, right, and you're a bunch of disgusting racists. That's all you are. You're nothing more, nothing less, right? Because you watch all of these wars, right, go on in brown and black countries, right? And you never ever go out on a limb. In fact, right, you call these people, oh, they're migrants, right? They're economic migrants. They're just fleeing these places because you know what? They want a better life and they don't want to stay in the country where they was born, even though it's war torn, right? But a couple of weeks we've got Caucasians being attacked, right? And the motherfucking Oscars, right, is all up in there, and the whole of Europe, right, is treating it completely different. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me, and a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So we had the drummer from, I can't remember what his name is actually now, but the drummer from the Foo Fighters, has passed away aged 50 in a hotel in Colombia. And I know what you're thinking. What he probably should have done was cut the marching powder, the fairy dust, the cover, the cocaine. Now, there's one thing that you could say about him, is he was the original, like, you know what P. Diddy said, right? The original half man, half drugs. he was he was the original, right? He was probably 55% drugs. That's the problem. It's the problem for all these extremely famous actors, actresses, and musicians, right? Because the problem is, once you've got all that money, and the problem, right, is once you've got all that money, you've got a lot of people who hang around with you for the party life, right? Now the party life, right, just involves alcohol and drugs. That's what their party life involves, right? So you could so this is the thing what these guys face. I mean, they say, right, the Oscar winners, I think, there's something like they've got a very high percentage of them, right, that will end up, with problems with alcohol and drugs. Right? But once you get to a certain level, right? And you know they've got all these houses, and they've got like cars and drivers, and they've aeroplanes and helicopters. You know, drink and drugs is an obvious thing for these guys. Do you know what I mean? So that's why. But it's a shame. Do you know what I mean? Because he's only 50 years old, and he's an absolutely fantastic drummer. I mean, because I think the guy that started the Foo Fighters, was the drummer in Nirvana or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So really, he must be a really outstanding drummer, right? To get into a band, right? That has been started by another drummer. So he was an absolutely fantastic artist. I mean, he could beat those drums, as if he was made with the drumsticks in his hand. He was born with the drumsticks that just come out. He come out of. It's like he come out of the womb drumming. Right? When his mum was pregnant, right? She must have had a real problem because he must have been in there drumming all the time. And we have to go over to the. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle at the Oscars last night. Basically, Will Smith, has smacked Chris Rock. All right, and I mean, look, first we'll go here. All right, Will Smith, right, is one of the most famous black men on the planet. All right, and Will Smith has let every black man down last night by going up and smacking Chris Rock. Not because he smacked another black guy, because it wouldn't matter if he smacked a white guy, but he's let us all down, right? Because this is the impression, right, that the world have got of black men, that were aggressive and violent. And that's the impression that the world has got. And Will Smith has played right into that. Right, which is just a really stupid thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't need that reputation. And now, right, you can imagine that today there's going to be a lot of black men who go into work, right, and there's jokes around black men smacking people and that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? You could have people who are in quite serious jobs having to put up with these type of jokes, messing around. Do you know what I mean? And probably they'll probably just laugh it off. Do you know what I mean? But deep down, it's not really something because of the impression that has been put about us. Right, there's certain things. When they're saying certain things that are things that they say, oh, all black men are like this, stereotyping. Right, there's certain things that when they stereotype us about it, we don't really find it funny because it's a stereotype, and we can say some black men might be that way inclined, but not all of us, because strangely enough, we're all individuals with all individual personalities, so that makes us all different. So not all black men don't act in any way at all. Right? Some black men are damn idiots. Right? But Will Smith, right, has really, really let us down big time with what he done last night. And but now you see, Will Smith faced a dilemma last night. A real dilemma. Because let me tell you this, fellas. Don't ever make somebody insult your wife and don't do anything about it. Because, I would just hope that I wasn't in his position. Right? Because, on the drive home, on the way home, right, your wife will just be there sat in the car or driving the car and saying, you made that man insult me, and you're a coward, and I hate you. I hate everything about you. I can't stand you, you coward. That's what you'd be getting. Right? So Will Smith had a real dilemma. Like a real dilemma. But the thing is with Will Smith, he's a rapper, so he's quick with words, right? And for him to be there sitting down shouting out, right, Keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. Say, well, mate, your wife's been banging all sorts of different people all over the place, right? She said it herself, right? That's how open her relationship is, right? And there's been several different men in it. While she's married to her husband, their relationship is open, right? So, but right, the joke wasn't about, how much that Jade has been ridden more times than the London Tube. Right? It wasn't about anything about that, right? It was about, right, her health here, right? And because I didn't know, but she's got alopecia. So obviously she's been suffering with alopecia for a long time, and it's a very, very serious thing for women. And women who have alopecia, yeah, are very, very sensitive to it. And obviously men who are married to women with alopecia are very, very sensitive to how their wife will be feeling about somebody taking the piss out of their wife's condition, right? So, I mean, you don't really, as you don't attack a man's wife in his face, in front of him. It's not really a good thing to do, right? There are jokes that you can probably say about the couple, right? But if you're purely, you've got to be very careful with this type of thing. So obviously, Chris Rock, absolutely fantastic comedian and great actor as well, all right? And for me, comedy really has no real boundaries. Obviously there are boundaries, because there's a lot of racial boundaries that you can't really cross with comedy, and it's maybe sexual boundaries, and there's probably a few more boundaries that you can't really cross. But it's very difficult speaking about someone's wife. I don't know if Chris Rock knew that Jade has got alopecia. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no clue at all. Do you know what I mean? Whether or not he knew or he knows. Obviously he knows now, because he got a good smack in the gob for it. And then I looked at myself, but Will Smith, yeah, it's what, 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", something like that, right? Big guy, Will Smith is a big guy, right? And I say, well, Will, you punch like a girl, right? Because Chris Rock is known as the human pencil, right? And then I'm looking at this punch, was this is this a Hollywood punch? Was there really a connection? Because that they've got all the sounds that you need, because obviously it's Hollywood, so they've got all the sounds that you need. And so was there really a connection? But then obviously when he went down and sat down and started shouting out, yeah, keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. I can see I'm going to go well over my time already. When he's come out, when he's sat down and he said that, I thought, well, ooh, but I'll say, well, you know what, he's rarely has, let us down, as black men. And he's obviously that, obviously, as I said, Chris Rock probably wrong, right, for calling Will Smith's wife G.I. Joe, when he could have just called her the Black Barbie with no hair, right, which would have been probably even more insulting. Do you know what I mean? So it was just insulting. I think just insulting someone's wife like that in front of the person. Do you know what I mean? Can get a reaction. And we saw. I think what we saw a real human reaction. That's what that was. It was a real human reaction. Do you know what I mean? But it has given the Oscars, yeah, their biggest moment since La La Land was announced as the winner of the Oscar, and it wasn't them, was it, or was it La La? Oh, whatever it was messed up. But it's been the biggest thing since then. Do you know what I mean? So, and because the people from the Oscars, think to themselves, something. This is the reason why we've never had these blacks in here. That's why we didn't want them in here in the first place. Didn't want them in here because we knew this type of thing was going to go on. You see, so what we've done, we've stepped right into the stereotype and what they thought of us all the time. So, well done, Will. Right? And then he went on to win the Oscar, right? At which stage, right, he could have really crushed Chris Rock with some words. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, we all know that she's got alopecia now. So it must have been. Sorry, so that must have been said last night or something. That must have been said on there, right? Because obviously we all know now. So he could have really went up there with his words and just crushed, because he must have known he was going to get the Oscar, right? And after he's hit Chris Rock, Denzel Washington has said to him, "It's when you're at your highest point that the devil comes for you." Right? True words. Right? And then now, Shanghai is going into lockdown. I'll say what, 2 years after the pandemic started. Yeah, they're going into like a full lockdown in Shanghai. Do you know what I mean? You know, the rest of the world is like, a lot of the world. Well, we've virtually come out of it. You know, I mean, they're talking about, like, you know, booster jabs and all these type of things. But, you know, I mean, we're virtually out of it. I mean, there's no restrictions. I mean, I'm very often the only person in a shop with a mask on. Very often. I mean, literally all the time now. I'm going into shops all the time, and I'm the only person in there that's got a mask on. Right? And you know, before that would have looked so strange, yeah, before COVID came along. In fact, right, I wouldn't have even been let into a shop, right, with my hat, my mask. I ain't getting in no shop. I can get into the bank now. That's amazing. That really is amazing. Do you know what I mean? Right? You know, that's unbelievable. Right? Brexit news. It looks like, right? See, I think that Sinn Fein, I've been saying this all the time, innit? I think Sinn Fein are going to walk it. I think they're going to, like, the next, I think they're going to take Stormont, right? And, you know, the DUP, right, they are trying to get at the Tories, yeah, to activate Article 16. Because, you know, the DUP, you know, these people, they don't understand politics, right? And that's why they call it DUP, right? But they haven't absolutely no. I mean, you know, I don't understand them. You know, I don't understand them. You know, they have got, you know, being in the EU, right? They have got all the benefits, right, that we over here would love to have. Well, all of the sensible people in this country. All the rest of them are just a bunch of stupid racists. But all of the sensible people in this country would love to have what Ireland has got, right? But no, right? The DUP is like, no. We need chaos. Right, and that's why, because I think the Irish people are just looking and saying, well, this is just, you know, you people you're being stupid, you're being ridiculous, you're fools, right? You're listening to leprechauns, yeah, right? Kiss the motherfucking Blarney Stone. Don't listen to leprechauns, and that's what the DUP do, right? And Sinn Fein is just like, we're going to unify Ireland very soon. Because that's what Sinn Fein's going for. They're just going for and you know something, yeah. Sinn Fein, right? They're just standing at the side, just standing at the side, just like, when your opponent, right, is fucking up, right, just pull up a deck chair, right, grab yourself a cigar and a brewski, right, and just sit there and watch. And that's all Sinn Fein are doing. Sinn Fein are just sitting there watching the DUP tear themselves to pieces, right? And it's, you know, it's quite funny. It is very funny, do you know what I mean? Because Sinn Fein is just like, okay, you know, had we known we could have done it like this, right? There would have been no reason for the IRA for all those years. Had we known we could have just done it like this. Right? And the DUP just making a complete catastrophe of the whole thing because they're a bunch of idiots, right? You know, because they're Brexiters, right? And I have never met a sensible Brexiter. They're all a bunch of stupid, thick racists. Even the black and Asian ones. Right? All a bunch of stupid, thick racists. Clowns. Because they voted for a clown. All of them. So if you vote for a clown, then you must be a clown. I didn't vote for the clown. They did. And UK businesses are facing a bureaucratic quagmire in the EU. And do you know what? Do you know why that is? Because the people of this country, the Brexiters of this country, are stupid. They're thick. And they're idiot racists. I'll give you an analogy. I've just thought of this one. This is what Brexit is. Right? Because, you know, the bureaucratic quagmire. I'll explain that to you. So, you've got a shop on the high street. Right? And they come and they put a wall in front of your shop. Right? So now, your shop can't be seen from the high street. But people know your shop's there. Everybody who needs to know your shop is there knows it's there. Because they had easy access to it before. They could just walk straight in the door. Now they've got a wall in front of it. Right? But, you say, well, wall's not going to be a real problem. I mean, just walk around the wall. But, you have to walk down. Then you have to walk back up. Then you have to go up some stairs. Right? And then you have to come down a ladder. And then that puts you in front of the shop. And that is called red tape. So at this point, right, now you've got to wonder to yourself, well, hold on. Women wearing a skirt, right, are not going to want to do that because they're going to think you're looking up their skirt. Okay? Because you men are filthy, misogynistic dickheads. Men who do that. Right? So how disabled people going to get into your shop? Or women with children. I know women with children will be like, well, you know something, yeah, we do like our children to be doing like activities and all that type of thing, you know, climbing but you know, we normally take them somewhere where, you know, the health and safety rules will kick in to do that type of thing. Look at me, I'm well over my time, you know. So we normally take them somewhere where the health and safety rules will kick in. So all those people, so that is who's not going to go in your shop. Women in skirts, for definite. Women in trousers, I don't know. They may well do. But women in skirts, disabled people, women with children. Right? You know, a man's driving past, right, and you think, oh, I'll just pop into that. Oh no, I can't pop in that shop because I got to get to work in 5 minutes. Right, and it takes 7 minutes to do that course to get into that shop. So I'll go to another one. And that is Brexit. Anyway, guys, look, I've gone well over my time, and I didn't really mean to. Right? Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.